Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to We're Offended, You're Offended, the podcast. I'm Kim. This is Tyler. And it is hump day. You know what that means. Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Yeah, that's right. That shit just happened. All right. So we have got one hell of a show for you today. And I'm going to warn you, I get a little salty again. Yeah, it's going to happen. So we're going to be starting off with our boy Justin Castro decided to address the Freedom Convoy. He finally came out of hiding. Yeah. And I'm just going to say I wish he stayed in hiding. Okay. What else do we have on the docket today, Tyler?
So aside from that, well, I guess blackface in charge. Anthony Fauci, everyone's beloved top scientist in the United States, is. We talked about this before about the world knew about COVID long before COVID was announced. So we have right from the
Horse's mouth, if you will.
yeah. Yeah, so directly from him and a couple of other scientists talking about that. Some articles are finally coming out that, hey, we should end the pandemic. We should just get used to living with it. It's kind of weird. And then a video is making its rounds of an old man because he honked. The great honking is upon us. Honk, honk. But because of this old man's ineptitude and understanding that you do not honk in Canada, he was arrested.
Oh my God. So this is what it's come to. You know, the funny thing is I was listening to or watching one of the live videos from the convoy earlier today, and I was quite surprised in how quiet it was. And there was one guy actually. Now the live footage that I was watching, I'll give a shout out to him. It's Tire Roaster's Garage. I've been watching him since the convoy had started, but he was walking down the roads and it was very quiet. And there was some guy that was actually holding up a sign. God, what did it say? Whatever. What it said was completely regardless. I think it said something about Pornhub. Um, yeah, free Pornhub videos or something like that. And there was like an arrow. But he was talking about how a cop had actually put his hand around his neck and like pushed him like 10 feet back and was like threatening this guy. But the guy didn't give in, thankfully. And he didn't show any violence back. But this guy was getting pissed off at him for, I think it was gas or some shit. So he had a jerry can with a bunch of like money in it and was like shaking it when the cops were walking by and you could see them walking by. And then he was holding the sign that said like Pornhub videos or whatever like that. And one of the cops kind of laughed. He's like, nice. He's like, yep. But he was handing out whistles to people because apparently he can't honk anymore. Which, again, I will say, I can understand the incessant honking probably got really annoying. You know, people need to sleep. There's babies, there's
I
animals, shit like that. But yeah, now
I
it's
don't I
like
don't agree with that.
dead
I
silence.
I, I don't agree with it. Um as the great and wise AOC said, protests are supposed to be um disturbing, not like, oh my god, like, so not like ISIS videos disturbing. Like, it's supposed to disturb the peace. They're supposed to be annoying. They're supposed to be. But if it's on the, again, the hypocrisy, it goes, one way, not the other.
Yep.
But
Because
it's interesting.
I'm
Our national bird, a goose. Get rid of them.
yeah, they honk.
Kill them all.
Poor goose.
So Ottawa actually got so upset with it. They had to put an emergency injunction in place that people aren't allowed to honk. So this old man is now the product of it all. That, like, Okay, so I don't want to get into it too much right now, but also we wanted to I wanted to touch on a little bit about, you know, the stuff that's going on with Joe Rogan. Okay, so they couldn't cancel him because of the misinformation, which I always find funny. So the misinformation thing didn't work. Now they're calling him a racist.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I still wanted to
Oh,
talk about this too.
so it's interesting that, you know, if someone was actually a racist, like, you know, like Joe Biden or Justin Trudeau, or, you know, maybe like Robert Byrd, you know, some famous KKK kind of guys, if you called them a racist, they wouldn't be mad about it. But Joe Rogan is trying to defend himself, and unfortunately, he apologized. He caved, even though what he said wasn't rude, wasn't hurtful. But we'll talk about that too. But so, all right, so we have a lot to get into. So let's with that, before we get started, of course, we are on YouTube until we get kicked off. Until I pull a Joe Rogan and I say the N-word. So until such time, if we're not here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll be uploading, assuming our internet doesn't shit out. We're always on Rumble. We're on Spotify. We're, you know, all over social medias. We have, you know, we're offended pretty much across the board. We're offended. You're offended across the board. We have a PayPal. If you want to show me, you know, your tips. But I think share it with, you know, share the video with your friends. We love to hear comments, whether they're good or bad. You know, bad opinions, oh well, you're dumb, and good opinions, well, I'm smarter than you. So no, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm
Nice.
joking. I don't care about your opinions. That's why I'm here and not talking. So yeah. All right. Let's get into this first one. So the first thing that we have is a clip from Justin Trudeau in Parliament responding to the convoy. All right, so I am ready. So it's a 7-minute long video, and we're going to respond to it because the what he says in here, I agree with him. I wholeheartedly agree with him. But what he's done is very different than what he's decided to actually do. So let's. I am ready when you are, Kimber Limberly.
Okay. So, to anybody else out there who is like me right now, grab your drinks because you're going to need it. And be prepared. I'm going to get angry. So, here we go. Ugh. All right. Ready? And sorry, guys. Play.
Just a short time ago, we had an election in this country where we asked Canadians how they wanted to keep fighting this pandemic. And their answer was clear. Canadians chose vaccines. They chose science.
No, well, just keep going.
They chose to protect one another.
We chose science. Okay, I'll stop it there.
Because Canadians know.
So they chose science. They chose vaccines. Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I will agree with that. I will totally agree with that. Because in 2020, there were no vaccines. So when you say, hey, it's a vaccine, that is what people understand. Just because, you know, just because you change the meaning of a word, what it's colloquially, fuck. What the general population understands the word to mean, and you say, oh, well, it's not that. Well, now we start having a problem because now you're saying something different. So, yeah, we do believe in science. I shouldn't say I believe in science, because that's putting faith into something that you cannot actually see. It's a blind trust. I trust in the scientific method of a hypothesis, saying that, you know, the earth is flat. And then someone came along and said, actually, I think the earth is round. And here is my hypothesis to refute that the earth is flat. And then they give evidence to the contrary. And typically, the better information should win out. That is why we have public debates. That's why we don't shut people down. But yes, I will agree with him. We do believe in science.
Yes, and also in the very beginning when the vaccines were coming out, I mean, what were we being told? You know, we finally have that glimmer of hope that we're finally going to get something where we're going to be able to get back to normal. So of course, people were all for the vaccine, quote unquote, and behind the science that we were being told. 100%. Yeah, not going to disagree with that at all. All right, should we continue?
Yeah.
Okay. And play.
That's how we
Okay,
get
so
back.
That's how we get
things
back
we
to
love.
things we love.
Individuals are trying to blockade our economy, our democracy, and our fellow citizens' daily lives. It
Okay,
has to
so
stop.
I'm going to stop there. Okay, so you said individuals are basically disrupting everyone else. I remember the video that we played on Monday regarding, him talking about the rights of the individual, being able to love who you want, being able to, without prejudice or anything like that. I think the big problem here is I agree with him. I 100% agree with him. Then that is very different from the rhetoric that he has continued to spew out of I don't know where, because the way he talks is actually un-Canadian. He talks down to everyone. He talks as though he knows what's right for you better than you know what's right for you.
Well, and the funny thing is, he's sitting here talking about how these people are, messing with the economy and all this other shit. What about you? What about you?
What,
You literally shut down a bunch of businesses, but that's okay. It's okay for you to do that, for you to decide who gets to stay open, who gets to close. But when somebody might be, infringing, I guess, on what you've decided, that's okay to stay open. And now we got a problem. It's cute. It's cute.
well, and that's where a big problem lies is. Sorry, I was just grabbing some water. The big problem becomes when he agreed with the ideology, he went and met them. When it's ideologies he doesn't agree with, he runs away. He calls them white supremacists. He calls them misogynists. He calls them white nationalists. It's interesting. A lot of those people that are down there aren't white. Actually, aren't white. They're Sikhs. There's Muslims. The transportation industry has a lot of Middle Eastern drivers.
You don't say.
But they're racist. They're white nationalists. Maybe he's just xenophobic.
I think so. I mean, I was just watching a video earlier today about a bunch of them. They had like a DJ going and they were all dancing around to YMCA. I mean, that's definitely what I see Nazis doing.
Yeah. All right. So we'll continue.
People of Ottawa don't deserve to be harassed in their own neighborhood.
And again, I agree. They don't deserve to be harassed.
They don't deserve to be confronted with the inherent violence of a swastika flying on a street corner or a Confederate flag.
Okay, I'm stopping there.
Which your photographer followed around and almost photo-opted. But like I said, I agree with him. I don't think people should be harassed. I don't think people should be insulted and ridiculed. But also, if someone's saying, hey, Kim, your hair looks dumb, and you go, what, does it? Or you can choose to say, they're just an angry person. Yeah, fuck you. I know it looks good. But so, and that's what I find a little interesting is, like I said, I agree with him.
Yes, but the funny thing is, or the thing that makes me angry about this, is you're literally grasping for straws. You had one flag, one Nazi flag that was put up on Parliament Hill. Take a hint. And you had a Confederate flag. We're not American. And it was one Confederate flag, one swastika flag. You literally are grasping for straws and making it sound like there is a whole population out there with waving these flags around and shit like that. It ain't happening. It's two freaking flags.
Ma, they're coming out in the hoods. They're coming out in the hoods. They're just crawling. They just where did all the KKK guys come from? They've been in decline since like the fucking 40s.
Right?
They come to Canada where they never would have expected it. They thought Canada was the last bastion of freedom. Oh man, were those neo-Nazis wrong?
Right?
Oh.
Yeah, they definitely got it wrong.
KKK should have stayed in the South. At least then you could have told those black people that they're dumb. Or you could have just run for parliament and then just use that as the guise. Okay,
Yeah,
got
blackface himself. Got it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so all right, let's continue.
Okay.
For the insults and jeers.
I don't see how that's wrong, though.
That's
someone calling you names.
Who Canadians are.
It shouldn't be against the law.
Canadians demonstrated over the past 2 years.
That's not who Canadians are. I'd like to know what Canadians are.
Continually being there for each other. People of Ottawa, indeed people across the country, deserve to have their safety respected, deserve to get their lives back.
Yeah, we do.
I agree with them.
From the beginning of this demonstration, our government has been in close contact with the Mayor of Ottawa and municipal and provincial officials. So far, the RCMP has mobilized nearly 300 officers to support the Ottawa Police services and is ready to do more. Yesterday, the City of Ottawa declared a state of emergency.
Yeah, a state of emergency where they take food away and it becomes a war of attrition. You know.
Strengthen our
they were taking gas jerry cans off of trucks.
Be there.
Yeah.
With whatever resources the province and the city.
But at the same time, we didn't.
Situation.
You didn't do anything for Black Lives Matter. That's okay. In a professional capacity. Yes, they are. They are the story of this pandemic.
They are not the story of Canadians.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
In this pandemic.
You're not.
From the very beginning, Canadians stepped up to be there for one another.
No, everyone turned on one another.
To support their neighbors.
Yeah, they turned on their neighbors.
Their elderly.
Yeah, you were encouraged that
support our frontline workers.
If anyone went out, if you've seen someone, it's still up on Dr. Rosen's voicemail. If you see someone breaking the law, violating COVID restrictions, phone us and we'll send the RCMP or the police.
Yeah. And how were we there for the elderly? We weren't allowed to see anybody. We weren't allowed to go to hospitals. We were not allowed to go to old folks' homes or whatever. How exactly was everybody there for one another? You literally made everybody separate.
They killed the old people off as much as they could.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But no, this will be the story because now everyone is looking at Canada and they are seeing, they see the emperor has no clothes. They see just how inept, how much disdain you have for the people that keep this country moving. Not the journalists, not the elite class. This is literally the workers, which the Liberal Party, and more specifically the NDP, what used to fight for. Now they're all about special interests and getting your friends rich, which everyone bitches and moans about, that the United States does. The crony capitalism, the lobbying groups, all this type of stuff. Okay.
All right,
Let's continue.
I'm at 3:03 and pressing play.
Oh, I'm a little bit behind you.
Vaccinated. By following public health
Support the frontline workers by firing them.
Right?
Getting a flu shot.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was comical.
We're all tired.
Public health restrictions are not laws, first off.
Frustrated. We're worn down. None more worn down than our frontline health workers who've been going flat out for 2 years. But everyone's tired of having to wear masks.
Or how about the people that
having to follow
had to continue to do their job just in general?
Families like mine just last week that test positive, have to follow public health rules, have to isolate themselves. Nobody wants
I'm at
to
339.
do that. I don't know how many conversations parents have had to have with kids about not going to birthday parties, but not getting to have sleepovers. This pandemic has sucked.
Whose fault
for
is
all
that?
Canadians.
You were literally the one telling the kids to stay home.
But Canadians know.
Well,
the way to get through it.
Hold on. Listen.
Is to continue listening to science, continuing to
listening to science,
to lean on one another,
to be there for each other.
Oh, and be there for each other.
Across-
Okay, I'm pausing it. Yeah. Okay. Again, he's literally the person who was telling everybody that nobody is allowed to be around one another, to tattle on your neighbors, tattle on your friends. No one's allowed to go outside and walk their dogs. Kids can't go to birthday parties. They're not allowed. They could barely go to school.
Well, I'm gonna push back on you because it wasn't directly from him. It was the provinces were enacting this in conjunction with the federal government.
Well, yes.
So the federal government would say, hey, you need to do this. This is what we need to do. So, again, I will say, I trust, or I shouldn't say I don't trust, but I believe what he is saying. I am in total support of what he is saying. Yes. It really sucks having to tell kids that, no, we can't do X, Y, and Z because we're going to go to prison. That was why. It wasn't educate and be compassionate. It was obfuscate and coerce and threaten. That is very different than the rhetoric that he is spouting right now. That is very different from, in Manitoba, from Brian Pallister saying that we're going to have some of the strictest measures in all of Canada. That's not something to be proud of. That's quite embarrassing in a free democratic society. Canadians voted, yes, on vaccines. Canadians did what our government asked. And then when they say, oh, well, now we need you to do this. 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 For 2 years, it's interesting. This is an emergency. An emergency is supposed to be like a natural disaster, a freak accident. If we're suddenly at war, emergency measures, because the government cannot sit to vote on it. Well, there's still Zoom. I think the internet still works. The internet hasn't gone down in the past 2 years. So you could have seen, or at least tried to put in legislation, but you didn't. You just decided to govern by edicts and decrees, not by, and I posted on Facebook, mandates are not laws. So when someone says, I followed the law, Okay, well, then you cannot, by definition, follow mandates. That is not something that has been voted on. It is something that someone from up top has dictated down to the masses. Do you ever hear of the rat hope experiment? I think I brought this up, told you about it. So it's a study that they put rats in a basically in a tube with water in it. And after, say, I think it was about half an hour of the rats swimming, trying to stay above water, they would drown and die.
That's horrible.
But this is the crazy thing. So if they let the water go down and then brought it back up, they swam for something like, it was like 16 hours. It's the hope. Oh, there was some reprieve. When is the reprieve going to come back? When are things going to let up? Think about what was done over and over and over. Think of that. How, okay, we're going into lockdown. Oh, well, now restrictions are easing. We're going to get back to normal. Oh, the water level has come down. Oh, we're going back into lockdown. The water has come back up. And now you're sitting there. Just when it has to end sooner or later. This has to end. Some people have drowned. Some people gave up.
A lot of people.
So
that is a really sad story.
But to say, yeah, the science, if it was a vaccine, like I said, what we were told, what we were sold, what bill of goods, they said, get the vaccine, you can take your mask off and everything's back to normal. And then they said, oh, yeah, about that.
Just kidding.
Yeah, just no, you're not. No, sorry. Maybe in 2 years. Yeah, I think 2 years. 2 years. I promise. In 2 years, everything's gonna go back to normal. We're gonna be laughing over drinks. You'll go, man. Do you remember when you took our livelihood away? And go, oh my, the times you remember when you broke into my house? Remember when the police broke into my house? Oh my God, those officers, man, did they do a good? Those guys. There's some listeners. There's some people that think, and we don't need thinkers. What we need is more listeners. Don't use this. This gets in the way. But, those guys, they could listen to orders really well. Man, that was a good time. So you're picking up the bill for this, right? Oh, I am. I'm picking, Kim. We're picking up the bill.
No, you. Not me. You.
But you told me the government is taking care of it. Canadians don't.
Well, that was at the time. That was
Trudeau,
at the time.
Why are taxes going? You know what? My business is shut down. Yeah, I know. I'm on unemployment now. I didn't really like my job anyways. I didn't like having food. I didn't like
my house.
No. It was so big. You know, I hated hearing my kids running around.
I know. It's so much easier now that they each got their own box now. I mean, we were all in one big box before, but now they each got their own box. It's really good now.
Yeah, we got all and all the tents, see, like in special occasions, like we go over to the neighbors, and because, well, they were able to save a little bit, so they actually bought a tent. So sometimes we bring the garbage, like what you guys would consider garbage. We're actually grateful for it because
it's our food.
Yeah, so we bring it over there. All right. Yeah. Oh, it was good times. It was good times.
So much fun.
All right.
So much fun.
All right.
Okay.
Let's continue with this.
Keep on with this piece of crap. Okay.
Across the country, Canadians step up to get their first dose of vaccination. That is the story of the country.
Oh, that's the story.
People who've been there for each other.
Been there. Okay. Yeah.
Everyone's tired of COVID.
These protests.
These protests.
You didn't call it an occupation.
These protests are not the way.
You know that guy coughing? He's got COVID.
This is not a fight against one another.
Yes, it is. You made it a fight against one another.
And Canadians know the tool to get through it is science.
No, it's not.
Is vaccination.
Canadians
is continuing to do what people have done from the very beginning.
We the people on your doorstep aren't Canadians, I guess.
Make the difficult choices. More than ever, Canadians need to continue to be there for each other, to be united. I've seen members of the opposition call for an end to the blockades. I salute that. This is a time to put national interests ahead of partisan interests. This is the time
responsible leadership, like running away.
Leadership. Democracy in Canada didn't happen.
When he starts to talk about democracy, he's so out of touch. He's completely lost the plot.
He lost the plot a long time ago. He really did.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So with that, so to say, to follow the science, to follow that vaccines work. By definition, vaccines have to work. Otherwise, it's not a vaccine. Just by definition. And I'm not trying to one up like YouTube. No, vaccines work by definition. They have to. But this is not a vaccination. It does not make you immune from it.
Well, hold on. It depends what dictionary you're looking at. Because if you're looking at the dictionary from like 2019, 2020, then you're correct. But if you're looking at from the latest dictionary, once they changed the definition of the word vaccine, you're wrong.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's what makes it so interesting. So, you see, he's talking about, unity and Canada coming together. These truckers coming. These, not even just truckers. There's nurses that are out there. There's Aboriginal band members that are out there. Yeah. The working class. The people that aren't being heard. Weird. For 2 years, truckers were doing this completely fine. Oh, we were thanked and applauded, and people left out signs saying, "Thank you, truckers." Yeah. Thank you. You come to my store and I'm going to kick you out. I'm going to phone the police. You're not allowed to even order a coffee. Get out of here. Oh, you need to use the bathroom? Oh, shit. You're not allowed. That's what I got to experience. That's the unity. That's the looking out for one another. I went to McDonald's just for a coffee. I like their coffee. If you like Tim Hortons, you're an idiot. Whoever likes Tim Hortons coffee, that stuff is disgusting. I don't know who in their right mind thinks Tim Hortons coffee is good. You're an idiot. You either have no taste or okay. So I just wanted to get a coffee. So I wasn't allowed in. And I just stood in their drive-thru and I said I would just like to buy a coffee. No, you're not allowed. You need to leave. I'm trying to give you money. I'm trying to keep your business open. Okay, fine. I will not go to your business anymore. I just won't. And there are a lot of places that I have decided to walk out of because they have willingly supported discrimination. Where if you do not have a medical form, you are not welcome here. So where is the unity in that? All right, so let's Mr. Unity himself. So this was an article from Fox News, and it was titled, "So Trudeau slams Freedom Convoy for hateful rhetoric and prefers to to support Black Lives Matter protesters. And I just pulled out some of the things that he had said. And he said, the video, you can find it is in the article. And of course, anything that we reference, anything that we talk about, everything will always be listed in the description. So please go and read it for yourself. I encourage you, find out more information. So,
or if you want to watch that dildo speak, you can.
Yeah, or that. If you'd like to see phallic-shaped objects somehow.
Talking? I don't know how.
Yeah. So he says, I have attended protests and rallies in the past when I agreed with the goals, when I supported the people expressing their concerns and their issues. Okay? So right there. Okay? So I would say in personal time, yeah, go protest who you want. I don't care. But in a professional capacity, Black Lives Matter is an excellent example of that. Right there. I don't even have to read any more of this article, and he has said exactly what he thinks of regular Canadians.
Oh, you couldn't even hear me. Shit. I was
I
muted. No, nobody else could hear me. I was going to say, yeah, of course he supports it. Look at him, blackface himself. Like, of course he's going to support Black Lives Matter. He thinks he is black.
Well, okay, and so, but I have also chosen not to go anywhere near protests that have expressed hateful rhetoric.
Oh? So Black Lives Matter was peaceful?
Violence towards fellow citizens.
Yeah, they did that.
So this is where I try to understand, and I've talked to Kim about this, like, specifically. I genuinely try to come from a place of understanding, of rationalizing a position. So to say that Black Lives Matter didn't have hateful rhetoric, if the world is a television screen, are we watching the same show? Like, we have to be. We can't be watching two different shows on the same screen. Like, that's what I don't understand. I try to rationalize it.
I guess it depends on what station you're watching it on.
Well, I guess how the narrative is spun. But we're watching the same movie, like we should be. But you're seeing something completely different. How is the rhetoric not hateful? I don't understand that. When the Black Lives Matter organization specifically called for segregation, for discrimination, to defund government, to defund police, to anyone that was a Trump supporter, what did they do? They bashed them in the face. They assaulted them. They burned their house down. They burned their businesses down. It was nearly a year of protest, not even like protest, rioting. At some point, you got to cross a line somewhere. And I think when you start throwing bricks through windows, I think that is no longer a protest, and I think that's when it becomes a riot. I don't know.
Most people would say so. I mean,
but what were we told? Oh, it's mostly peaceful. Mostly peace, Kim. Don't worry. It's mostly. There was a video of a news reporter, buildings ablaze behind him, and he was going, they're mostly peaceful. Like it's almost like they're looking at you in the face and saying you're dumb. Look, don't believe your lying eyes. Listen to what I'm saying. Like,
which is unbelievable. Which is
it's
funny.
Like
you literally see all this shit, but yet it's okay. That's okay. And what do they have with this one? They're literally grasping at two freaking flags about how disgraceful it is. And they've actually had to put up fences around the memorials and around Terry Fox so people will leave him alone. Funny, because actually the truckers brought security. They were securing the area. It wasn't you. It wasn't the police. It wasn't the country.
Black Lives Matter.
No, they didn't.
You didn't do that. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down. You didn't do that. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down. You didn't. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down. You didn't. You let those statues be torn down.
Yeah, but I guess it fit
That's
the
what you
narrative
let
at the time. It was okay.
You let them occupy Toronto. You let them occupy, like actual occupy, sit in occupation.
Well, and do you think they
Chaz
were
Chop
quiet?
was Chaz Chop was literally an occupation. They took control. They forced the police out, which is an actual occupation. Not when people are saying, "Hey, officers, hello, hi, how are you?" You know, that's what I don't understand. One, you see as a direct, because you're an authoritarian, and any authoritarian, when their power is challenged, they only know how to respond is with force. They cannot fathom. And I'll say this for anyone that has said those truckers are dumb, they're stupid, oh, they're annoying, they need to shut up. You are no better than any authoritarian. You are no different than any Adolf Hitler, any Maoist, any Pol Pot, any Venezuela, any Cuba. You are no different. You are the problem. And I will say that with full confidence because they actively, only thing they knew what to do is to force compliance. Oh, and we have a little video that directly talks about it's about compliance. It's not about the science. Because if it was about the science, the 16,000 doctors that signed the Barrington Declaration would be talked about. Nobody knows about that. But we're going to talk about the 200 doctors that weren't even doctors that said Joe Rogan is spreading misinformation, but yet they don't quote anything. It's amazing. The people that have the most to say about Joe Rogan has never actually listened to Joe Rogan. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Right. And he is one of the most diverse people that are out there. He literally has people from all walks of life come on his show, every single different viewpoint, and lets these people talk till they don't want to talk anymore about what it is that they believe. And there's never once been well, I don't believe you and this big fight or whatever. He listens with an open mind and he may have a differing point of view, but they have a discussion about it. There never has been, like, he literally has every single viewpoint. And the funny thing is that now, okay, so they're trying to get rid of him for misinformation, right? But, well, that wasn't working. So what's the next best thing? Okay, well, he's a racist. Yeah, let's pull the black people into it. Let's let them fight our
So
battles because if
we can
we
talk about that later.
okay.
We can talk about that later.
Okay.
All right. So violence toward fellow citizens and the disrespect, not just of science, but of the frontline healthcare workers, and quite frankly, the 90% of truckers who have been doing the right thing to keep Canadians safe. Doing the right thing, Kim. You know, the 2 years. 2 years where you couldn't find paper towel. For a year and a half, you couldn't find paper towel. You couldn't find any type of procedures, anything to try and help, to put food on our tables. Yeah, so now you were essential then, you are expendable now. Just like the nurses, you were essential then, you're expendable now. Oh, teachers, students, you are expendable for the greater good. That is the big difference. It is for the greater good. It is literally an authoritarian, a collectivist idea. So, all right, Canadians know where I stand. Yep, you made it very clear. You do not support the average Canadian. You do not support the working class. You actively support discrimination, segregation. You fight Aboriginal children that are trying to get money because of what our government decided to do to them in residential schools, where they have to fight so that they can have clean water and homes. Yeah, I know exactly where you stand. They're all stupid. I should say, we're all stupid. You know better because you have a degree and because you have a guilty conscience.
Yeah, he looks his freaking white nose down at everybody.
Yeah. So this is a moment for responsible leaders to think carefully about where they stand and who they stand with. Trudeau added in his comments that Nazi symbolism, racist imagery, and desecration of war memorial. Desecration is an insult to memory and truth.
Well, I guess,
No,
again, it depends on when it is because, ripping
which
down and
ideology does it?
yeah, exactly. Decapitating them, ripping them down, spray painting all over the place. That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's, you know what? The thing is, I'm okay with those signs being there. I'm okay with seeing racist imagery because it should be a reminder. It seems like he has forgotten. We will never forget. We will never forget 1945 when World War II finally ended. Yeah, I will never forget that. There's a reason why we talk about it. There's a reason why I try to bring up, the 10 stages of genocide. We are not that far removed, and this has shown it. We are not that far away. When people are afraid, 9/11 was a perfect example of that. 2 buildings got destroyed, 3. What happened? The Patriot Act, where the government got overwhelming power to spy on its citizens because they no longer looked at their citizens as citizens, they looked at them as enemies. And that has only continued. It has only made things more divisive.
Speaking of spying on citizens, did you hear there was this interview that I had listened to? It was on Fox News. On Tucker was interviewing one of the truckers that's part of the convoy, one of the organizers actually, and he was talking about when he was coming up or going to the border. I don't know, going to the States or from the States, whatever. It doesn't really matter. He was crossing the border, and he had his digital passport ready to show them. And as he got up there, he showed them, and the guy was like, "Oh, we don't need that." He's like, you don't?" He's like, "No." He's like, "When we seen you coming up, we ran your plate and it comes up with all your information right there. So we can see that you've been
Yeah,
vaccinated. So you're okay." How
yeah.
scary is that?
I have to do the same thing.
That's scary.
Yeah,
The fact that you don't even have to
yeah,
show it for them to scan anymore. They can literally run your plate and all your information is right there.
yeah.
That's
So,
creepy.
so the fact, I guess in response to that, so I'll finish this and then I'll respond to that. So Trudeau slammed the convoy last week as being comprised of a small fringe minority of people who hold unacceptable views. So it's not that the government has your information. It's that an individual has your information. I would go to customers and they would ask for my driver's license and they would try to write down my driver's license number. I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not, no. I have identification. I have 3 types of government identification. I have a port pass, I have my driver's license, and I have my passport. That is all sensitive information that if someone gets a hold of, they steal my identity. So no, sorry, I'm not giving it to the fucking server at the keg. I'm not. I'm not going to the Olive Garden and saying, here's all my information. Because what happens if they write it down? Oh, they take a screenshot of it, and then what? What, they get fired? I wonder. I'm curious about this. How many people's identities have been stolen since this has started? So,
I would like to
yeah,
know
no,
that too.
and no, I'm not giving you my driver's license number. Not doing it. Sorry, I have other identification that identifies me as the company that I'm working for. That's all you need. That's all. It has my name, has an employee number. That's it. You don't need my driver's license. It's unbelievable that people are just, oh yeah, and then they wonder why is my credit score at 230? I don't even know how that happens.
So weird.
Yeah, because of all the places you decide to give your identification to. Yeah, Go to McDonald's. Oh, you want to sit down? Show us your ID. Let us write it down. Oh, I have to mark this down. Uh-huh. Okay. All right. You want to get into this next? So I guess with Fauci. So I talked about this before, that the information has come out that the world knew about COVID coming long before it was officially announced. So this comes from the AIDS progenitor himself. So so this is on Rumble, and this was from OAN. I know that they're a right-leaning source, they're conservative. Okay, well, whatever. All right. All right, you ready? So this is at 2:55.
Yeah. Ready and
All right.
now.
Why don't we blow the system up? I mean,
We blow
obviously
the
we
system
can't
up.
just turn off the spigot on the system we have and then say, hey, everyone in the world should get this new vaccine we haven't given to anyone yet. But there must be some way that we grow vaccines mostly in eggs, the way we did in 1947.
In order to make the transition from getting out of the tried and true egg growing, which we know gives us results that can be, beneficial. I mean, we've done well with that, to something that has to be much better. You have to prove that this works, and then you've got to go through all of the clinical trials, phase 1s, phase 2s, phase 3s, and then show.
So do you hear what he said? So the guaranteed method, we know that this works. We know that the old technology 100% works. Well, how are we going to know if it works? This new, if we come up with a new system, how are we going to know if it works? Well, we just need to blow the system up, start over, get rid of the old. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy to hear? I'm saying it out loud, and this is from October of 2019. All right, so we'll continue.
Know that this particular product is going to be good over a period of years. That alone, if it works perfectly, is going to take a decade.
There might be a need or even an urgent call for an entity of excitement out there that's completely disruptive, that's not beholden to bureaucratic strings and processes.
So we really do have a problem of how the world
do you hear what
perceives
that guy was saying? Isn't that insane? Are you not
an entity of excitement?
Not controlled by the government, not something that can an outside influence, something from the outside that can force this to happen. Like if what if I give money to a certain lab? Let's call it what if we called it the
Wu-Tang Clan?
The Wuhan Institute of Virology. What if we use that place? Like we've done work with them, and they've released other viruses. So we know they have a really shitty track record of actually having like safety protocols in place. What if we use that place and we give them a bunch of money, and they develop a new type of virus that we can spring onto the world, and then we can try out this new technology? Oh, you mean the Dr. Malone that you now try to discredit? You mean that technology, the mRNA technology? The same person that you are trying to encourage, you are now discrediting. Okay. All right, so let's continue with that.
And it's going to be very difficult to change that unless you do it from
how
within
we perceive influenza.
I don't care what your perception is. We're going to address the problem in a disruptive way and in an iterative way, because you do need both.
But it is not too crazy to think that an outbreak of a novel avian virus could occur in China somewhere. We could get the RNA sequence from that, beam it to a number of regional centers, if not local, if not even in your home at some point, and print those vaccines on a patch and self-administer.
It's hard to misinterpret what's being said here.
So I'll stop. So I will say that would be amazing if you could beam the information to your home and then just administer that system yourself. That sounds amazing. That is a fantastic evolution in science. In medicine, I should say, not just in medicine.
It is.
But it's interesting how, well, let's just say it came from China. Well, I don't know, just a total shot in the dark. It's not like South Africa. Nah, not those black people. They're too poor. We don't give a fuck about them. No, we just let the AIDS run rampant through there. No, they're already screwed. So China, where we give everything else to, because North America is incapable of producing anything itself now. We're completely beholden to China's interest.
Yeah. And then, we just, something just blows up, and then everybody needs to get this vaccine. And, it's just, we have to give it to everybody else. And then the people get to be the guinea pigs instead of it taking 10 years.
Yeah, no, well.
2 months later, COVID.
If we're only if we're breaking monkeys' arms and stuff and breaking their legs, we can only break so many bones in an animal's body before it just gets boring. We can only have so many sandflies eating beagles' faces. It gets boring. Let's turn that dial up a little. What about the whole world?
I like what you're saying here. Tell me more.
Yeah. So, okay. It's just an interesting little thing. A little excerpt from OAN again.
Guys, we don't just make shit up. We don't just start talking because we just want to hear ourselves talk. We see these things. I do like to hear myself talk, and I look really good today. But anyway, but we see this stuff, and how can you literally deny how suspicious all of that sounds? Literally a couple months before COVID outbreaks, they're literally talking about a big explosion of excitement, and people, and they're getting a virus, and then we having to make a vaccine, and everybody gets to be the guinea pigs. How suspicious is that?
Well, and to be fair, this is the same guy that told everyone that you could get AIDS from a cereal box.
Yeah.
When the overwhelming scientists at the time were saying that's not true. No, that's not how AIDS transmits. Okay, sure. The thing is, when you're in a position of authority and you get things wrong consistently, you are no longer authoritative. You start to become irrelevant. And I think with the things that have been bungled, with the response to COVID, with the absolute disregard for human beings, for their test subjects, you've lost. I think you have done irreparable harm to the scientific method, for people's confidence in science. Okay, so speaking of Canada and believing the science and just making shit up. So this was an editorial piece from the Toronto Sun, and it is titled, "So It's Time to End COVID Rules in Canada." Ooh. So more delays, or no more delays, no more excuses. It's time to get with the program and end mandatory COVID-19 rules from coast to coast. Oh, here's what Dr. Kieran Moore, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer, of Health had to say on Thursday. This is the same one that said, "Oh, I just say what they tell me to say. I don't even know why I bring on these papers." That one.
Oh.
I absolutely think we have to start to learn to live with this virus. And we've let our lives be controlled for the past 2 years in a significant amount of fear.
What? You don't say. The government has given us trauma? All of us? What?
It's incredible. We've let our lives be controlled by a significant amount of fear. I listen to a lot of people. I don't just, everything I think of, it's not strictly me. I listen to a lot of different people. And then what makes more sense? You can see the fear in people. We were saying this years ago. You can see people are afraid. There is a level of anxiety, almost like a type of a large group that seem transfixed on something. Oh, I can't think of the name. It's something like a mass, a large mass of people. And when that large mass of people kind of coalesce, they form something. So I guess maybe like a mass forming. I guess you would almost call it like some type of psychosis. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah. So just a consistent feeling of being afraid. And then the government saying, well, we'll take care of it. This is the only way. Do you not see the rhetoric over and over? You want to talk about hateful rhetoric? Do this or else. This is the only way. You see it over and over and over again from the fucking Castro's fucking mouth. You see it over again. This is the only way. In science, there's never the only way. That is why I say, when he says science, he's not talking about science as as people understand. No, they think science. He thinks science as, like Anthony Fauci, where he said, "I am the science. I am the God."
Yeah, okay, toilet seat man.
Like, what the? Oh man. Yeah. So Dr. Moore continued. We have to look at the mental, the physical, the social, the economic, and the educational impacts this virus has had on our children and our businesses, and learn from the last 2 years that sometimes we were too cautious.
100%.
Just get upset. Oh, fuck. I was saying this right from the outset. Right from the outset. The damage that has been done will not be recognized in months and years. It will be recognized in decades. The financial impact that people have had to shut down their businesses that are no longer coming back, where people have died alone in hospitals, where people have lost everything, where spousal abuse has gone up, where abuse in general, substance abuse, alcohol, drug, where people have committed suicide. Yeah, you have done irreparable harm, and that is all on the government's hands.
100%.
That is what they decided to do. And I will say, the Canadians that decided that this is acceptable, well, you are just as liable. You ushered this in, and you continued to say this is the 10%'s fault. No, we were told 60%, 70, 80, 90. Now suddenly, that's when we'll reach herd immunity. Now herd immunity is impossible.
No, it's got to be 100%. Everybody.
Yeah, you don't get 100% of anything ever. You never get 100%.
No.
Yes, like I said, 2 weeks. Yeah, we don't know what we're dealing with. But as more and more and more information poured in from around the world, it's frustrating, because we've been saying this for over a year. Over a year. This has been out in the open, and it was squashed. Yeah, I'll be generous and I'll say a year. Even though, yeah, it's been closer to a year and a half. People have been saying, no, we can't. Unfortunately, we cannot eradicate this. This is a respiratory virus. It is nearly impossible to stop a respiratory virus.
Yeah,
Once they
100%.
were able to sequence it, they had this thing sequenced within a month.
This isn't,
Which
it's
is
not
weird because it was in a fucking lab.
it's not a pandemic. It hasn't been a pandemic in like at least a year. I'm going to say longer than that, but at least a year. This is an endemic. We just got to learn how to live with it, just like the influenza virus. Like it's literally, people have been saying this for like a year, if not more. We just have to learn to live with it. And yet still somehow Canada, like, do you not realize all the other countries out there, a lot of them are releasing a lot of their restrictions. They're bringing them down. They're like, you know what? Everybody's pretty much vaccinated. Um, it's not
You
as
can't do
bad.
anything else.
There's nothing else we can do. We just got to learn how to live with it. So, you know, a lot of other places actually have an end date of, okay, well, February 14th, we're going to stop with the restrictions on the numbers of gathering. Everybody can go. And then at the end of February, it's going to be no more masks. You know, this is how a lot of places are going. And the funny thing is, I remember through a lot of this pandemic, looking at Australia, sorry, Australia, but it was pretty fucked up there. And
Still is.
yeah. But the funny thing is, Australians are looking at us being like, what the hell? Because it's not, it's starting to lessen up there. And yet we're still sitting in freaking lockdowns. Like, and this is Canada. Like, so many places don't understand. Canada, of all places, is having these barbaric restrictions still. Like, get it through your head. It's an endemic. We're going to have to live with it. So we should be learning how to live with it instead of making everybody else suffer for more and more trauma, because exactly what's going on, this is trauma already. So many people have suffered.
Yeah, at some point, this is no longer consensual. This has stopped being consensual a long time ago.
Yes, it has.
So,
and finally, people have decided to stand up. And the funny thing is, you see so many people in the States and other countries talking about how what's going on in Canada right now is a peaceful protest, and, you know, that they wish that other countries would learn how to do things like that. You see Canadians dancing in the streets. They're literally, it's like Canada Day. You know, they're cooking each other food. They're bringing food. They got music. They got DJs. They got speeches. They got people playing bagpipes. Like, it's like one big giant party, and everybody's getting along and everything is peaceful. That's how you do a protest. And yet you have some freaking little weasel who runs away, for one, but two, is sitting there complaining about this protest when he was literally supporting a protest that was burning buildings down, killing people, vandalizing, like, what? Do you people not see this?
All right, so let's just we'll continue. So, all right, so British Columbia's chief medical officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, said similar things a week ago. We cannot eliminate all risk. And I think that's something we need to understand and accept, as this virus has changed and has become part of what we will be living with for years to come. Dr. Henry explained, she added, that we need to treat COVID much like we manage influenza, which is what everyone that isn't sucking the Kool-Aid. I'm sorry, I'm a little... All right. Let's be clear on one thing then. Eliminating rules does not mean eliminating personal choice. It's expanding choice. Exactly. This has never been saying, I have never advocated, or no, you can't do this. I have never said that. I don't care. I have too much to worry about what you want to do with your body. I literally could not possibly care less. Yeah, maybe, but okay. hey, if you want to go, for cancer treatment and you think that chemotherapy is just going to rip your body apart and it's going to kill you, okay, I'm sorry you think that, but it isn't a very aggressive treatment. Yes, but it's also what's needed to destroy cancerous cells. Yeah, it's shitty, but that's the best that we got. I'm sure if there was something better, I would love to learn about it. I've seen there's so many people that are trying to do, information or try to find a better way for it, but we're not there. All right. Once mask mandates are lifted, people can still opt to wear masks. Exactly. And many will. Go for it. I'm going to look at you as though you're dumb, though, but go for it. If someone doesn't wish to attend a large concert event, then obviously they just don't go. Exactly. Live your life the way you choose. How hard is that? It's incredible.
Really not.
People, it's incredible to see what best way to say? The people that chose to get vaccinated. How overwhelmingly you have seen them say, "Well, I did it. Why didn't you?" Like I'm reminded of that guy that was in the grocery. There was a video of a guy in a grocery store yelling at a woman, and he's saying, "Why aren't you wearing your mask? Isn't anyone else mad that she's not wearing her mask?" And the lady is filming, and she's like, "Then go away. Then leave me alone. Stay away from me." And so, first off, in any other situation, that woman would be going, "Is this guy gonna rape me? Like, what is he going to do?" But this guy, he's following her around. And finally, when he says, "Isn't anyone else upset that she doesn't wear a mask and we all are?" And someone off camera says, "Leave her alone." And then he walks away. It's well, I did it, and why aren't you? I chose to do this. Why didn't you choose to do this? And I'm going to berate you. So, Trudeau, you want to talk about harassing people? A lot of it came from one side. There's an old phrase that I think of, and so whatever. It just goes, "You laugh at me because I'm different, and I laugh at you because you're all the same."
I like that one.
That's what I'm kind of what I'm thinking about. You all just a lot of people lockstep. And you know what? I'll say, we all thought that we were doing what we needed to do. The amount of people that are going to be so pissed off. I was talking to my mom, and she said, well, my stepfather, I think it was her stepfather, got the third shot, and he was on his ass. He felt like shit. And she said, "I'm not doing it." And now they're going to lift restrictions. It's a lot of people are coming out of that psychosis saying, then what did I just do for 2 years? What did I give up? Who did I alienate? Who did I cut out of my life?
What worries me is that a lot of people, whether it's friendships or families, I wonder if they're going to be able to get back. Because honestly, if it was me and I had family that cut me out because I didn't want to get vaccinated and they did, and they cut me out because of it, then once things actually lifted, if someone were to reach back out to me, I'd be like, you know what? Like, I've seen your true colors now. Like, you literally were okay throwing me to the wolves. For what? Like, it's so sad. Like, there's literally relationships of all kinds forever destroyed because of the way that people were turned against one another.
Yeah.
And it was encouraged by our government.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I brought this up before. I brought this up many times. The government did a fantastic job. Hats off to you. You did it. You turn neighbor on neighbor. You let them blame each other instead of them holding government to account. And now that people are, what did you do? Oh, they're racist, they're misogynist, they're terrorists. That was your response.
Fascists. Yeah.
Yeah. Unbelievable. All right, let's get into this one because this is really gonna chat my ass. This is really gonna chat my ass. All right, so we'll play it, and I guess we'll stop in parts. So this is from the Toronto Sun, and this is a video that has been making its rounds. And so it is titled, so arrested 76-year-old great-grandfather meant no harm by honking. That son of a bitch. How dare he honk? Oh, what a... And you know, in the great communist country of Canada, we don't honk. Ever. If you do, you're a fascist. You're an absolute fascist.
Right.
You probably wish that Hitler was you. I bet if you ever honked your horn, you wish Fidel Castro was your dad. I'm calling it now. I bet anyone that has ever honked their horn, anyone that's ever, yeah, I'll
100%.
I'll leave it at that. Okay, so I'll preface this with whatever. I hate. There are not a lot of things I hate in this world. Nosy neighbors, nosy people is one of them, and dumb motherfuckers that tell people what to do when they're interacting with the police that don't know what the fuck they are talking about. Those are two things I can't. And people that get mad at people throwing midgets. That is what I cannot stand in this world.
Yeah, whatever happened to the good old midget tossing? Come on. I mean, a lot of those midgets, they were up for it. It was a thing.
We were watching Lord of the Rings, and that's what they did in the Battle for Helm's Deep. Freaking Gimli says to Aragorn, he goes, "You'll have to toss me."
I know. I died. I was laughing so hard. I don't know, like, to anybody who's been following us since the beginning, we did do in one of our episodes, I don't remember what episode it was, but we were talking about midget tossing in it. You know? Yeah. But that was, I died.
I think we were talking about Ricky Berwick, and he is a Canadian national treasure. There should be Secret Service to protect that retard from the onslaught of the ableists. That is what we need to protect Ricky Berwick at all costs. He is a unifier. He is so much fun, and yeah, he is disabled as fuck. But he has taken his disability and he wears it with pride. And he has fun. And it's incredible to see.
I love watching him. He's hilarious.
Yeah, all right. So
okay, let's get into this video that's going to make me angry. I can tell already.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Oops.
Tell me when you're playing.
Okay, all right, I'm ready. Ready when you are.
No.
Where are you going? So let's stop it right there. Did you hear what that cop said?
I don't care about vaccines. Where are you going?
No. Stop and start it over. The first interaction the guy recording. And first off, how dare you? Portrait? We spent the better part of an hour trying to get this set up because the webcam was super choppy. I was getting super pissed.
Yeah, he really was. He was looking like the Flash every time he moved. It was really bad.
Yeah, like a fat Flash. More like a I don't know, like a wheeze. Yeah. I was like the wheeze, the fat version of the Flash. A light simmer.
A light simmer. Oh my God.
All right, so let's start this over. So listen, turn it up and listen to what that officer responds to. And I'll say, Video is fantastic for showing what you want to show. By the time most video people pull out their phone, something has already happened.
That's true.
So let's start that over. Listen to what that officer says to the guy. Okay.
None of your fucking concern, man. What do you mean?
Did you hear that?
Something about none of your concern? Or
none of your fucking concern, man. Fine police. A wonderful interaction with the citizens of Ottawa. Fantastic police work.
Wow, that's a little feisty.
Yeah. None of your fucking concern, man. All right, let's
I bet he
continue.
got employee of the month. You think? Yeah.
Oh, he probably got
Hero award.
Fucking egg of the month.
All right, let's continue.
All right. Okay.
I don't care about vaccines. Where are you going? Hey, where are you going?
You don't have to answer
Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that. The officer says, "Where's your identification? I don't care about your COVID passport."
You don't have to answer his question, sir.
Okay, so just in case if you can't hear it. All right, so let's continue.
You want comments? Film me from the side.
Sorry?
No.
Did you want me to continue or pause it? Sorry.
Yeah, continue.
Oh.
Walk.
Yeah, you're too many
So then the guy starts. You don't have to answer that.
You're not a
I guess technically no.
It's on film, so you're fine. Drive it.
But if you want to make your life real difficult,
it's called communism.
don't answer that.
Why you're pulled over?
It's called
All
communism.
right, I'm at 20 seconds.
It's communism. You don't have.
You're at 20 seconds?
Yeah.
I'm at 48.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, you're still going.
Yeah, I thought you said keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, am I pausing
You
it?
don't have to show anything.
Show anything.
You can see where he's
You didn't
hiding
do
it.
anything wrong.
I know I have.
You have the right of freedom of choice. You have the right to beep your horn or whatever. Why are you
Yes,
doing
it is
this?
an offense.
It's an offense.
Of what?
Offense to beep your
It is an offense.
Is it
it's
offense
not
to
an
beep your
offense.
horn?
Since when?
Tell me it's
It
not.
is.
I have it written down that it is. It's actually an
So
offense.
you're
right?
standing with your lying government? You're lying cop.
Driver's license. He's
Like,
You know that your superior is a liar and he went on the media lying to the Canadian people? Now you're doing this?
Have me fired. Have me
What's
fired.
your name and badge number?
2192 Jones.
Oh,
There. You have
like
everything
that.
you need to have me fired.
2192
What they're
Jones.
doing to an
Got
old
it.
man.
Okay.
That's a citizen of Canada.
Students the warning. Pissed off.
okay.
That's right. That's exactly what
Okay, so let's stop it there. I'm at 1:40 right now.
I'm at 136, but okay.
Okay. So you can hear he's saying it's not illegal to beep your horn. Yes, it is. It actually is. Yeah, it's dumb. I get that. Yeah, it's dumb. But this guy videotaping, he's not helping the situation. In fact, he's inflaming the situation. And he's saying, you don't have to give him anything. Dude, yeah, if you want to get sent to jail, cool. You really proved your point. You proved your point. Yeah, big fucking tough guy.
I will agree with that. When who knows what the situation was like or how it could have gone, but the fact of this person interfering and they don't know, like, okay, they can kind of assume what's going on, but yes, it is escalating the situation because now the cop is paying attention to him, getting fired up because of the guy with the video camera, and probably going to take it out on this poor old guy. And this poor old guy is just all kinds of confused right now. Like it's yeah.
Well, you can see the man, he has his wallet in his hand. Has it in his hand. And he's saying, "No, it's not." And he starts beaking off. He starts beaking off to this guy. Yeah, you want a Canadian word? There you go, beaking off.
Hong Kong.
Yeah, Hong Kong, motherfucker. But so I can't stand it. Just videotape it. If the donut operator says it best. He's like, I don't care if an officer says for me to strip down naked, smear peanut butter on my balls, and bend over. He's like, I'm gonna do it.
That's really hot.
That's not where the fights are won. The cop is just gonna do what he's gonna do.
Well, the best way, honestly, like with a lot of the people who are in this convoy and stuff like that right now, a lot of people have been just encouraging people, do not give in. Like the cops are going to start pushing. They're going to start doing this. They're going to start doing that because they want you to lash out. They want you to start getting angry and they want you to start fighting back so then they can use that against you. Because then we got a problem. Exactly. They want that reason.
Give me a reason.
And the thing is they can do whatever, but if you're not fighting back and you're being completely peaceful, guess what? You're winning.
Yeah.
They got nothing.
You have to win in the court of public opinion. You have to win local support. That is why I said the honking all day, all night. Yeah, it's a dick move. You're going to turn the citizens against you and they just say, I just want it to go away.
Yeah.
I no longer care what they're protesting. If I did support them, I've had 10 days of nothing but air horns blaring. And you know what? And I'll say this. Bringing a train horn is stupid, is beyond stupid. First off, you can't have them on a semi. It is illegal to have a train horn on a semi. I know I wanted to do it.
Yeah, you did.
It's illegal. You can't. They're too loud. Even air horns are too loud. But they're for a reason.
Well, and the thing is with people who aren't aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, which I know you will, but semis have two different horns. They got your beep beep horn on your steering wheel, and then they got that murr, murr, and the murr, murr. Yes, the air horn. You're not allowed to do those in the city. The meep meep ones you can, but the murr, murr, nay nay. So
we have a city horn and we have an air horn. Air horns are better used for on the highway or if we're backing up. Like I will only use my air horn inside the city if I'm backing up. That is to notify everyone that I am backing up. I won't use them in the city. Very rarely. Like if I have to get someone's attention and my city horn isn't loud enough, they don't hear it, yeah, I'm pulling the air horn. But I'm not sitting there reefing on it. It is loud. It is deafening. And you know what? But that's what protests are supposed to be. They're not going to be silent marching like children of the corn. Like that's what they're going to do. Okay, so all right, let's continue. The guy recording it pissed me off. All right, ready?
Doesn't matter. This is the capital of Canada. Drop your mandates. Stand down. You're not doing your job. You're representing hate. You're a terrorist.
That's their vax card. I don't want that. Driver's license.
You're representing hate. Come on, dude.
You're representing hate.
Call your lawyer. You'd be really good. Call your lawyer. I don't care. Give me your driver's license, insurance registration.
You hear that lady in the background? Oh, they're a bunch of idiots.
I could hear barking. I couldn't hear what she was saying, but yeah.
Okay.
Because I should have gone with that guy because he's got flag.
That's right. He's a supporter for Canadian freedom. Who cares? They shouldn't live in the capital of Canada. They better leave. Because until the mandates are ended, this is not going to stop. Stop harassing
right
old
there.
men. You don't
right
have to
there.
show him anything.
You don't have to show him anything. Shut up. Shut up. And you can see the old. No, I paused it. I'm at 2:30. So you hear him. He says, you don't have to show him anything. Yes, you do. If you don't, yeah, you look super cool on YouTube, on Rumble. Yeah, you look really cool. Because now the cop is going to say, you don't have identification and you're driving a vehicle. You need to have identification. You need to have a proof of driver's license. And in fact, it has to be a valid driver's license.
Yeah, and if you don't have that, guess what happens? Your vehicle gets impounded. The tow trucks will come. Your vehicle is gone. Like, is it really worth it? Honestly, just show them your freaking driver's license. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. Why are we fighting about this? If you want to fight about honking the horn because you think that it's ridiculous that you're getting a ticket for that, and who knows if you would have gotten a ticket anyway, but still, even if he did, fight that in court. Why
fight it in court? You don't fight it in the streets. You don't. And I brought this up when I first seen this video. A police's ego gets in the way, and they will not back down. They have a tiny dick and a big fucking ego.
They're like chihuahuas.
They will not. Yeah. So, yeah, don't show them ID. Okay. Yeah, you're an arbiter of hate. You represent hate. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I'm not gonna
For what? Hey,
what are you doing?
what are you doing?
So he pulls away.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, that's assault. I've got it all on video.
Ask, tell, make.
Yeah, he failed to ID.
Get back!
Hey!
Get back! Get back!
We're back. We're filming. We're doing our part.
Get back!
You're not doing your part. You've actually just made the situation worse.
Don't
You hear that guy? You're whatever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Continue.
Hey, Ritz, stand down.
Don't say anything. Okay. Yeah. At this point, yeah. If you're being detained,
No, it's peaceful. No, let them do.
Attack me, you fucking goof! Fucking not doing shit! Touch me, punk ass!
This is going right to the media. YouTube. What's your name and badge number?
Is it the
What's your
cop
name and
calling him a
badge
punk ass?
number?
no, that was
What's
someone
your name
else.
and
I think
badge number? What's your name
They
and badge number?
didn't help the situation.
Look, they're hurting an old man.
Well, yeah, now they
Canadian
are.
citizen. It's communism. This is communism. He's scared. Communist.
You stand with the communist fucking government!
Call your police
Yeah.
chief. He'll back you up.
See, what are you helping?
Call your police chief.
Fucking arresting citizens! Sir!
Arrested an old man. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame
Okay. All
on
right.
you.
All right. That's
Yeah,
enough.
I know he beat the horn.
Again.
What the fuck do they represent?
God.
No. And so we can look into. So again, the fact that they start instigating, and you can hear someone saying, "Oh, they're just a bunch of idiots," or "They're stupid," whatever that lady actually said. I don't remember it now. But you are not helping the situation. Yeah, record and don't say a word. Because now, what if they want to use your video for evidence? They can't, because they can't hear what the cop is saying, because you're sitting there saying all the stupid shit, and you're giving this guy bad advice. Last I checked, I'm pretty sure that guy recording isn't a lawyer. Neither am I, but I'm also not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's not
Unbelievable.
okay. Like, I don't mean this as any sort of insult or anything, but like older people, they get confused really easily. And there's literally a cop there. He's probably scared and wondering what the heck's going on. And then you have some freaking dildo in the corner there sitting there screaming and all these people and blah, blah, blah. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. And the guy's listening to the cop, and then this guy jibber jabbering. Like it's so confusing for that poor old guy. And and then he ends up getting hurt, because I can guarantee you they're so fragile.
Yeah, and he did. Yeah, he has. They're on the article. You can see like his hands. He has bruise and cuts on his hand, and he has his head's a little banged up. And what? It's not a good look. But you know what? You don't win in the court of public opinion sitting there yelling at cops. I'll say the same thing for Derek Chauvin when he was on George Floyd. All the people sitting there, and then there's a YouTube channel, Audit the Audit, and they try to break down these interactions, but it's just you just keep going and you keep going and you keep going. Just shut up. Okay, so let's get into this quick. So 78-year-old grandfather was arrested and handcuffed by Ottawa police after honking his horn in support of a protesting trucker. Said he was not a protester and was not looking for any trouble. So Jerry Charlebois says, "I meant no harm. I just gave the trucker a thumbs up and a honk. Pretty benign thing, but Ottawa, in its infinite glory, has outlawed honking. So all the geese in Canada are going to be killed.
Right?
All horns are going to be pulled out. We should come up with some shirts for it. We have to.
Yes.
All right. So at the same time as concerns over honking in the city reached a fever pitch, Ottawa Police pulled over an elderly retired Ottawa high school janitor. He was not charged criminally, but given a $118 bylaw ticket for unnecessary noise. Which, yes, if you are sitting there honking your horn, it is illegal. I'm sorry, it is. Yeah, it's dumb. But who looks dumb now? The guy that recorded it. If the old man, if Jerry just gave his license, hey, maybe they'll give him a warning, like, hey, because of all the protests and all that, I'm sure they could have been a lot more accommodating. Maybe not. And then he takes it to court and he's like, really? I beeped my horn and I got a $118 ticket. So he says, I'm so sore. Father of 4 children, grandfather of 11, and a great-grandfather of 4. It hurts so much. And this seems irrelevant. Charlebois, who is double vaccinated and plans to get his booster shot, said he was confused during the incident at the corner of, well, it doesn't really matter, about 4 blocks from the main protest. I was in shock. When the police pulled me over, he told me I was in trouble for honking the horn. While the video shows he cussed at the officer, Charlebois said he respects police, but I was just upset with him, he said. He had never been arrested or on the wrong side of police. Never, he said. He just pissed me off when he said that about the honking, and then things deteriorated from there. After attempting to get his identification from his wallet in the back of his minivan, Charlebois was taken down with a twisting of his arm and hand, and landing on one knee on the ground before being pressed against his van, and then, with the help of a second officer, handcuffed behind him. So I'll say, yeah, it looks bad, and I'm not saying that what the police did was right, but the guy recording, you did not help that situation at all. You can say, hey, I think what you're doing is pretty freaking dumb. Really? You're going to give me a ticket for honking my horn at a Canadian flag showing my love and support for my country? And I bet if he brought it to court, the judge would have said, you know what? Don't bother. Maybe. Or you lawyer up.
I know, that guy completely escalated the situation. Like, it might not have even ended up like that whatsoever. Like, the guy probably would have gotten a ticket, some bullshit ticket, and would have been on his way. But because of this guy who decided to flap his mouth, he escalated the situation so much that this is what ended up in the end. So, do you feel good about yourself? You got a poor old man hurt and arrested. For what?
Yeah, like I said, you look really cool in the moment. And I'll say, trust me, the cops don't look good either. They don't look good. With your first interactions, it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah, that guy looked like a dildo.
Like, yeah, real fine police work. Ottawa's finest right there. Telling, mind your own fucking business. Let them talk. And then when you show your body cam footage, what?
It sounds like you're about to say dick.
No. Yeah, when you show your dick in court and you get held in like contempt. No, but when you show your body cam and you're saying, "Hey, sir, it's just," when you explain the situation and so like, "Hey, just talk with me." When you show how nice and how respectful you're being, you kill them with kindness. You say like, "Hey, man, I get you're protesting. Hey, I love what you're doing, but because of the situation that we're in right now, it's been an an injunction has been placed for unnecessary honking. So please, in the future, I would encourage you not to.
But
So,
I gotta really say, like, they must have been having a real bad day. And I mean, judging from the first officer's, I guess, what came out of his trap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I can only assume that this poor old guy was, at the stop sign, seen a truck went by, went, meep, meep, just a friendly little meep, meep. And then they decided to pull him over and give him a ticket and then ended up arresting him. But I mean, they must have just been like, that's it. I'm so sick of this honking.
Yeah.
Like, I
have dreams about just shooting geese. Bang, bang, bang.
Right? That'll be the new video game. A bunch of police officers shooting geese.
Instead of shooting black people. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Although they do. It's a joke. All right. The backhanded joke. Okay, so, yeah, it was just, I don't know. Cops didn't look good. Did not look good in that situation. Neither did the guy. All right, let's get on to this last one and let's get the hell out of here. So, but I guess before that, I would love to hear, what is your opinion on that? After seeing that video, what are your opinions on that? Is it, do you think the cops are in the wrong? Do you think the gentleman, Gary, the old man that got arrested, or the person recording? I would like to hear your opinion. All right. Okay, so let's get into this last part. So this will be a quick one just to close out the night. So with Joe Rogan, he initially there was a hit piece done that the 200 doctors that weren't really doctors, the people from Grasshopper Farms, a weed farm, saying that he spreads misinformation, and so that didn't work. Spotify kind of capitulated, so they said, okay, we'll put a misinformation label on Joe Rogan's thing. So that didn't work. So Spotify said, no, we're sticking with Joe. Yeah, because he cost them $100 million. And the amount of people that have joined up because of Joe is massive. A lot of I'm on Spotify now. We're on Spotify now. Because, all right, Joe went over there. But so that didn't work. So what they did was they had a Democrat party affiliate. I can't remember the name of them at the moment. It was APAC, APM, something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But so a super PAC for the DNC created a hit piece, a compilation of Joe Rogan saying the N-word over and over and over. Completely out of context. Watching the video, you can see he's not saying it out of malice. In fact, a lot of the time he's talking about Richard Pryor and the titles of his albums.
Yeah, his songs.
Well, Richard Pryor is a comedian, so or he was, talking about Eddie Murphy, like he's quoting someone, saying, "No, they said this." And would it not be disrespectful if Richard Pryor, as the artist gives it out, and they said, "This is my art to the world," and you say, "Well, I can't call it that," especially a black comedian.
Yeah, I'm going to edit your art.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the whole point of art is, whatever.
Which I find, okay, with my thought with that, though, which I find really comical, is that, okay, they tried getting him out in some sort of way and it didn't work. And then what was their big brain idea? They're like, hey, I know. Let's put out a compilation of him saying the N-word. So then all the black people will attack him and they'll all hate him. And then because it's about race now we have to get him off. Yeah, some white guy saying the N-word, get him out of here. Which is just like what happened with Roseanne. Okay, she said something and she's gone into detail of explaining herself. No, she didn't. And the thing is, if you actually looked at the picture of the girl from, Planet of the Apes, and the girl who she was talking about, they had similar haircuts. They looked similar. She was making a comparison. Woo. And she literally...
And the chick was white.
And she
was white as hell.
I know. And she literally lost her entire career, something she has worked her whole life for, a show that she built. And then what happened? They kicked her off. They didn't kick her off. They killed her off so she could never come back again. And then they continued on with her show. Yeah, her show.
And where's her show? Where's her show now?
I don't know. As far as I knew, it was still going, to be honest. I just can't remember.
Going?
Yeah, I just can't remember. I don't know. I can't remember what TV, whatever thing it's on, but no, it's still going. But then you have Whoopi Goldberg, who isn't even her real name, by the way. Just a little FYI there. Karen Johnson. Yeah. Okay. And she changed her name to Whoopi Goldberg, which sounds Jewish, but she's not Jewish. Okay. And then she sits there and says something anti-Semitic. But what happens to her? She gets a 2-week suspension, but she can come back to her show. That's okay. But then you have Roseanne, a white-ish woman, and Joe Rogan that they are trying to cancel.
So, and the funny thing, so I don't want to go into the Whoopi thing. We can, whatever. Apology, because she said that the Nazi Germany wasn't about race. Like you couldn't like spell it out, the genocide, the Holocaust. You could not, like it would be like Hitler would have to like come back from the dead and say, hey, N-word, this is about race. I hate the Jews. I hate them. I hate the retards. I hate the homos. I want them all dead. You go 999. That's what he would do. In fact, you'd probably say, if I could, I'd put you in there too. Like it's all right, I can't even. But it was so tone deaf, and well, it was just whites killing whites.
Yeah, who cares? It's not a big thing.
What? Oh, okay. So if we were to take Whoopi's dumbass fucking idea, okay. So when a black person shoots a black person, who cares?
Oh, I got you there, Whoopi. Karen. Karen.
It's so unbelievable. Like, the Holocaust was specifically about race, about exterminating the Jewish race. That's what it was about. But it was white on white.
Yeah, so who gives a shit about the whiteys?
You're an idiot. You're so out of touch. You're so... It's unbelievable. Okay, so
which is actually
get back
funny
to
because Jewish people never used to be considered as white people because they weren't white. They were considered their own race. Yeah. But then they were like, oh, no, you're pretty light skinned. So we're just going to put you in with the whites. Yeah, whitey.
They're really good with money. You know, they're nah, because they pull themselves out of the the existence that they were forced into. Nah, they're basically white. They're white people now. They're white adjacent.
Oh, I like it. I know where you're going with that. White adjacent. Okay. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah. Even though Slavic people are considered is considered a protected class, they're white. There were literally camps for Jewish people to be killed. But okay. All right, okay, enough with that. All right, let's get with the Joe Rogan thing. Okay, so they took specifically things out of context. No context for what he was saying. A person that is not racist. Like that is what I find so incredible. Like I said on the outset. Justin Trudeau, Joe Biden, Robert Byrd, all of them have no problem if someone said you're racist. They would say, absolutely, I am. Absolutely. But someone that isn't actually racist, and when that is a character trait that someone is trying to apply, a label that someone is trying to apply to someone, that person will absolutely defend themselves and they'll say, absolutely, I'm not racist. How dare you think that? He has had people on of every color, of every creed, of every sexual orientation. Maybe not the the real made up ones, like like actual people that are actual like transgender, like Blair White. He's had who's the porn star guy, Buck Angel. He's had Buck Angel on. He's a female to male transgender porn star. He's had him on.
Yeah, check him out just for curiosity's sake now.
It's weird. It's just weird. But like it's so disingenuous. But so they it's just a supercut. It's just him saying the N-word over and over and over. And unfortunately, Joe Rogan apologized.
Well, and it was something that was taken from the past decade. Like it was literally like 10 years ago. Like who gives a shit what someone said 10 years ago?
I don't care about that. I honestly don't. He didn't use it in a malicious way. He wasn't trying to be derogatory. It wasn't a pejorative. Sorry for the people that say I use my know-it-all language. They weren't using it as an insult.
That's right. I just put up the Kevin Hart photo. That's right. Y'all can see it. I took it as an insult.
No. Whatever. Okay, so he decided to apologize.
Sorry, I kept muting myself there. Which is unfortunate. Like, I mean, I can understand. I listened to his apology, and part of his apology, I think, was really good because he was saying, like, I wasn't saying anything that was trying to hurt anybody's feelings. And if it hurt somebody's feelings, like, I'm sorry about that. But that wasn't the intent of it whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the intent behind a word has a lot more impact than just a word itself.
Agreed.
But so, all right, okay, so they don't want Joe Rogan in context. They don't want that. They are literally just saying they have like a 30-second supercut of just the N-word over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
But for Joe Biden, they absolutely demanded context. So this was from Jack Posobiec. He had posted this on Twitter. All right, get ready for it. This is the guy that said, the concrete jungle. Oh, he calls them the blacks.
Oh, yeah. And if you didn't vote for him, you ain't black either. So,
yeah, that they're uneducated, that he literally signed the crime bill to outlaw, to help imprison black people. So let's blow this up full screen from Joe Biden, the most voted president in U.S. history, to the most secure election in U.S. history. No instances of fraud ever in 2020, but everywhere else riddled with it. In fact, he is so clever. He predicted 2024 is going to be riddled with fraud. That is the type of forward thinking this man is. Okay, so with this, all right, so let's all right, you ready? Okay.
Already have a nigger mayor, we don't need any more nigger big shots. Already have a nigger mayor, we don't need any more nigger big shots. Already have a nigger mayor, we don't need any more nigger big shots.
Oh my God. Like, I mean, it was bad enough. It was bad enough, like, reading the saying on it, but actually hearing it coming out of his white ass mouth, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what Joe Biden has been for most of his career. He hasn't changed all that much. Like you said, if you don't know whether to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Like,
sorry, I think it was how long ago you just called me the N-word and you want me to vote for you? Okay.
He's done it. He didn't stop. He's done it more than just that.
Oh, I believe it. He was saying it with such conviction and such just whatever. Like it was just rolled right off his tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting that apparently Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson endorsed him. And that I lost a lot of respect for for The Rock, he backed Joe Rogan, and then that supercut came out, and he suddenly backtracked.
Dwayne, say it ain't so. Why?
What?
Why?
What an idiot.
I would have rather you voted for Snoop Dogg. I'm just gonna say Snoop Dogg.
If you look at the replies, he was reading a quote. Is this what we doing now? Yeah, like, geez, guys, this is really taken out of context. But for Joe Rogan,
what?
Out of context is exactly what we needed. So you know what? I'll say, if I actually say something and I mean it and I meant it at the time, why would I apologize for it? Why?
Yeah.
You meant it. Stand by it. He said, yeah. If anything, I would say, yeah, I love Richard Pryor. He is one of my favorite comedians. I love him. He is the reason I got into it. Eddie Murphy's stand-up, it was bad. Not like garbage bad, but it was racy. Eddie Murphy's brother, what was his name? Shit, I'm forgetting his name. But you could go on. The utmost respect, and they paint him as some kind of crazy racist and whatever. Okay, sure. All right. So with that, I don't know what is everyone's opinions on that? Do you think Joe Rogan? Do you think he messed up by apologizing? Would you like more context with Joe Rogan in what he was saying, or should we demand that? Well, I guess Joe Biden should be taken in context as well. But it's not about context. It's about canceling, removing someone's livelihood. And I've said this before. These groups, CNN, like I said, Brian Stelter, super, handbag, said, why do people go to Joe Rogan? I'm the host of authoritative sources, reliable sources. Why is no one listening to me? I can't believe that people listen to Joe Rogan and they don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Well, because maybe your boss, like Jeff Zucker, maybe that, and your co-host, Andrew Cuomo, was helping his brother, a real big conflict of interest. Maybe because CNN propped up Andrew Cuomo when in their own ethics that having your own brother on is a conflict of interest. When you have Andrew Cuomo appear out of the basement finally after 2 weeks of being in quarantine, when he was already spotted a week before riding his bike in New York, and then this big reveal, you're no longer news.
Yeah.
Or when Sanjay Gupta and there's the supercut compilations of them saying ivermectin is horse dewormer. Hey, well, people are catching on that you lie. Maybe there's still some idiots, like the real dumb, like people that just like that, like literally just they just sit their mouth open, drooling like a zombie.
It's really hot.
Yeah, maybe those people still think CNN is giving you the truth. No. Oh, with Jeff Zucker, he was banging Chris Cuomo's help. And then it finally came out with Andrew Cuomo after Andrew Cuomo got fired for helping Chris Cuomo, the governor of New York, because Andrew Cuomo was trying to find dirt on people that were trying to get the information out about Chris Cuomo sexually assaulting them. So Jeff Zucker was banging Chris Cuomo's employees, a direct conflict of interest. and he didn't want it out. That's why Jeff Zucker left CNN. And now they're all in a panic because apparently a Trump supporter is looking to purchase, has a governing share or a majority share in CNN stock. So they might be taking it over. So it's going to become an actual news station. They're going to put the news back in CNN. So, all right. Okay. This is going on way too freaking long. All right. With that, Kim, take us out.
Okay. Also, before, I would like to know what people's thoughts are with the whole, the cancel culture coming for Joe Rogan and what they did with Roseanne, but seem to be giving just a little slap on the wrist to Whoopi Goldberg. I want to know in the comments below if you feel that that's okay. Anyway, so with that, thank you everybody for listening. If you're new here, thanks for coming to hang out and hear our opinions and what we have to say. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. And if you think I look really good today, definitely give me a little thumbs up. I think I look hot. Anyway. I hope everyone's had a good week so far. Happy hump day. Wow. We will see you again on Friday. Don't forget you can check us out on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're everywhere. Just come hang out with us. Also in Discord. So, yeah. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday. Bye.